Hello and welcome to another podcast episode. This is the third time I've recorded this podcast episode, and if it doesn't work this time, I'm calling it quits and there will be no podcast this week. It's Friday today and it's mid-morning, it's nearly midday, and I recorded this yesterday morning, first thing, and then I sat down at lunchtime to edit it. I recorded nearly 50 minutes, sat down at lunchtime to edit it, and there was no sound. Now, I recorded another bit for a weekly vlog I'm filming this week just before, and that was fine. And then there was no sound on my podcast footage. So this morning, I sat down, 8 o'clock, and recorded it again. I recorded 10 minutes, I switched it off, I listened to it, but only beginning, and there was sound. So then I switched it on and recorded another about 20 minutes or so. Then I listened back and there was no sound on the second recording, and then I listened to the first recording and the sound disappears halfway through. So I've charged up my microphone and it's green, and I've charged up my receiver that I plug into my phone. I think they're probably both gone flat or nearly flat, and I didn't realise it. Problem is when you charge it, there's a light that comes on, but it doesn't blink or anything. Like some things will blink and then stop blinking when they're fully charged, or they'll change colour from like red to green. This one doesn't do any of that. So I've no idea when it's fully charged. And it tells me when I start recording that I am recording, but it doesn't tell me when it stops recording. So I can just keep checking that it has got a green light on it, because when I checked earlier on, when I was filming the second lot earlier on, it switched to flicking red. So that was probably sign that it was not working. So let's do this again. Take 3. Lots to show you this week. I've got alterations on 3 projects. A finished project, I've got a new project, I've got a pattern release. Lots of stuff to share in this week's podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through my website, YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So first, before we start with the knitting bit, I'm just going to plug a couple of things because I forgot to do that earlier. So my Diamond Soft Forever cushion is 25% off the pattern until Sunday, 2 days after this video comes out. I don't think I've been promoted on social media this week, which is very bad. So the yarn is Yataghan Merino Cotton, which you can get from my online shop. I'm planning to close my online shop on Sunday evening, or realistically Monday morning when I start work. But I've said Sunday evening in my newsletter because I need to get ready and pack everything for Yarndale. So I packed all my new yarn. I packed most of the new yarn I've ordered already. And I'm going to start packing stuff that's in here today, and then I will finish packing on Monday. So I will close the shop first thing Monday morning. Yarndale is next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 27th and 28th of September, our wedding anniversary weekend. Our wedding anniversary for the 12 years we've been doing Yarndale now, I think. Oh no, it's probably more than that. I'm not sure, but anyway, long time we've been doing Yarndale. Normally falls on, we've been doing Yarndale every single year, apart from 2020 when it wasn't on because of COVID. And every year our wedding anniversary is either fall on the Yarndale weekend or on the day we drive home from Yarndale. So this time it's on the Yarndale weekend. So I'll be there with all my patterns, yarn, notions, my books, loads of samples, so do come by and say hello. They have sent out the paperwork, but I haven't looked at it yet, so I have no idea what stall I'm on. But I've been on the same stall the last few years, sort of right in the middle-ish. I'll be in the program. You'll find me if you want to find me. It's a big place, so if you're coming, make sure you order your tickets in advance so you're not disappointed, and wear comfortable shoes and bring lots of shopping bags. Okay, a couple of events I just want to highlight quickly. Sunday 19th of October, I'm teaching Brioche Basics at the Sewing Box in Brixham. South Devon, first time I'm teaching there, very excited about it. And then 11th of November, I'm teaching finishing techniques of spinning yarn at Bobby Tracy in Devon. And week after that, I'm at the Knit and Stitch show in Harrogate. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Been once before, beautiful town. Really excited to teach at the Knit and Stitch show. I'm teaching Friday, 21st November, Mobius cowl. So you learn the Mobius cast on, you'll start knitting a cowl, and continental knitting and mitered squares. And then on Saturday, 22nd of November, I'm teaching knit and Mobius cowl again, knitting in the round and continental knitting. And 23rd of November, I'm teaching steaming knitted fabric, knitted skinny eyelet scarf, which is my small delight scarf, and mosaic colourwork knitted scarf, which is my Bergen scarf, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's 21st to 23rd of November. I'll put the link below. And if you click on that link, it'll come up with all the workshops. So the best thing to find just mine are to click on advanced filter and then select my name, Anniken Allis, YarnAddict. That's it. Right, let's talk about what I've been knitting. Let's talk about this one first because it's a little bit damp still. So I need to hang it back up to dry. So I designed earlier this year a scarf called the Bergen scarf. Bergen, named after the town in Norway. I'm not going to put it on because I don't want to mess with my mic, but I will pop a picture on the screen. But it's a very small 100 gram yarn, 50 gram each colour scarf. I taught it at Black Sheep Wools on Saturday. I have a little bit of footage from that coming up, which I'll insert at some point in this video. And because this is very pink, and I know lots of people don't like pink, I decided to knit in another colour. So I started this before I went up to Black Sheep Wools in June to teach this workshop, and I only knitted probably about that much, and then I've knitted the rest in the last week. So I did a bit before I went up to Black Sheep Wools last week, and then I did a bit while I was there, and then I finished it last weekend. Yesterday when I went to record this, I hadn't blocked it, and then I blocked it last night, and it's still slightly damp. But had I known that I wouldn't be filming this till now, I would have left it blocking till now. But because I tried to film this first thing this morning, I unpinned it. And it's slightly damp, so I'm being very careful with it. But I have a picture showing you the difference between the blocked and the unblocked. So what I did was I put the pink down on my table first, and I put this on top of it. And you can see the difference in size of blocking made. I wet blocked it, and it makes a big difference. So I'm going to fold this up and put it carefully on the floor, so I remember to hang it up in a minute. And when I say put it carefully on the floor, I mean drop it carefully on the floor. The next thing I want to talk about is my brioche clutch. New pattern. It's called the brioche clutch because I have no imagination when it comes to names this week. I've had to name four new designs this week, I think. I've got 4 new designs that haven't been published yet. Might be 5 actually, not sure. I'm going to release this today, and then I will release the others online over the next 6 or so weeks, because the next couple of months I'm away so much, or I'm teaching, so I haven't got a lot of time to work on new designs. So rather than release them all online before Yarndale, I'm going to bring all the printed patterns to Yarndale, so you can buy the patterns if you come to Yarndale and get the yarn if you want to, and then I will release them online throughout the autumn, so that I have a schedule of release kind of planned out. So the first one is the brioche clutch. The pattern will be 25% off until next Friday, 26th of September, because I don't want the discount going on online while I'm selling the printed pattern at Yarndale. So if you want to get this pattern, you can get it online. If you want a printed version, you can get it from me at Yarndale next weekend if you're going. But it's a brioche clutch, part of my clutch bag series. I'll have the frame and the felt lining at Yarndale as well as lots of Yatka merino cotton. In here is my secret project that I can't talk about because it's for a magazine design. Worked on it a lot beginning of the week. I saw a friend on Tuesday and I knitted on this a lot, and I got a lot done, and then I haven't touched it since, so I need to work a little bit on it over the weekend. But I've done a blue version as well. I'll pop a picture up on the screen, so I'm not sure where I put it. It's a bit chaotic here now because I'm getting ready for Yarndale. And takes 100 grams of each colour, starts flat down here, then you in stocking stitch, and then you pick up stitches around, work brioche in the round, and then single color brioche here. Pattern has links to loads of tutorials. So how to knit in the round, how to do brioche knitting, how to knit brioche in the round, single color brioche, and how to attach the frame and the lining. All that is linked in the pattern and on the pattern page. I also have an online course, my successful brioche online course. If you're new to brioche, then I highly recommend that. So that is available now. It's called the Brioche Clutch on Ravelry and Payhip, 25% off until Friday next week. If you can hear some noise, we're having a recycling collector today, so it's a bit noisy outside. And then I got 3 projects that I had finished, but I've made some alterations on, so I picked them up again. So let's talk about this one first. So this is my Intarsia scarf. I'm not going to put it on because I'm worried about my mic. I'm just checking that the mic is still green. It is. I'm hoping it's still working. I'm not going to stop and check now. I'm just going to go straight through, and if it doesn't work, I'll put something else up today, because this has got to go out this afternoon, and then I'll record again on Monday for next week. I'm not messing around with this anymore because I got stuff to do. So this is Intarsia scarf. It's called Keyboard. I was umming and ahhing between keyboard or crayons. I was worried that crayons sounded a bit too much like it was a kid's thing, so I went with keyboard because they look like keyboard keys. And originally the buttonhole, it has a buttonhole fastening like the Bergen scarf. Originally the buttonhole was like down here, and when I put it on, I wasn't happy with it. So for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, I've been thinking about, shall I rip it out and redo the final section? And I wasn't going to do it. And then I tried it on a few days ago, because I'm filming a weekly vlog this week. And I thought, it's not that far. I only have to go back to there. So I thought, let's just do it. It probably took me like an hour, so it didn't take very long at all. So I'll pop a picture up on the screen for you, but this is finished. Pattern will be available at YarnAddict, and then it'll be available online. Maybe the week after YarnAddict, maybe later, I don't know yet. I haven't decided what I'm releasing when. So first alteration, I'm trying to go a bit quicker now because of time. Second alteration is my crochet sweater. I'm not going to put it on because it's quite warm this morning, so I meant to open the window before I started filming, but I forgot. My crochet sweater, which I worn loads, I finished it, or I made most of it when I was in Norway in July. So you start here and you work all the way across the top to here, so it's top down, and it's right from like here to that point on the other sleeve. And originally, because the sleeves weren't quite long enough, I just crocheted around the sleeve the same width as that, about 10 rounds, which gave me kind of like a bracelet length sleeve, like a long, not 3/4 length, probably like, I don't know, halfway between 3/4 length and full length sleeve, I guess. And it was the same width as the rest of the sleeve, and the sleeve is quite wide. There was no shaping on the sleeve, and I was happy with that. I wore it a lot over the summer, and then last week it started to annoy me, and I was thinking, shall I make it longer? And then I thought maybe I ought to make it a bit narrower. And so when I went away to travel up north for Black Sheep Wools last Thursday, I basically, because I was wearing this in the car, I basically just grabbed the spare ball of yarn, which partial ball of yarn I had left over. I had a full spare ball as well, but I took the partial ball, chucked it in my bag and a crochet hook, and then Thursday night when I got to my hotel, I ripped out the original sleeve edging and crocheted a new one, and I decreased a load of stitches. So I've ended up with like a puff sleeve, really. I did about 10 rounds on both sleeves, decided that wasn't long enough, so I added a couple of more, then I ran out of yarn, decided I needed more. I think I've done about 18 altogether, so I added the rest when I got home. That's the great thing about crochet, because there's no edging on this. It just, once you finish, you just stop and fasten your yarn. So I could just start again, didn't have to unpick the cast off edge or anything like that. So I just did a couple more rounds, and now I love it. Very happy with it now. So I'll put up a picture of what it looked like before. I don't know if I have a picture of this where it looks like now. If I get time to do it before I did this, I will get a picture, but I may not, because I need to get this done so I can get on with some actual work today. And then we got this crochet tote, which I made last year. My plan was to turn it into a pattern, but I never got around to that. And I won it not as much this year as I did last year, but originally I put these quite chunky leather shoulder straps on it, and they were quite heavy and quite thick, but I quite liked them. They're quite solid. They were fine in the summer when I was just wearing like a t-shirt, but last week when I was wearing that crochet sweater, because it's got quite wide sleeves, I couldn't get it on my shoulder. So, and I also felt like the handles were quite heavy. Now, there's quite a few designer labels that do similar crochet bags. Prada, for example, there's a couple others, but I can't remember. I've got some ends sticking out here I need to trim. Prada does one that's about £1,500, and they have crochet handles. So I thought I'm going to replace the leather handles with crochet handles, then I can make them a little bit longer. So I did double crochet for the handles. The bag itself is treble crochet, talking in British terms. The treble crochet is US double crochet, British double crochet is US single crochet. So I just did double crochet, basic straps. Didn't take me that long. I kind of crocheted into this edge here. I can't remember how many stitches I did now, and then when I got to that edge I just crocheted it to the edging here. And yesterday when I was recording the first version of this podcast, when I looked at this one, can you see how it's twisted? So obviously I wasn't careful enough and I attached it and managed to twist it. So I need to this afternoon find the end and pick this, untwist it and attach it again. We're going to Portugal soon for a week, and I was thinking about taking this, and that was another reason why I decided to change this strap, because it takes up less space now and it's much lighter, so I can just put it in the bottom of my suitcase. We are traveling with minimum hand luggage. Simon and I are sharing a carry-on suitcase, and then we're taking a backpack each. So my backpack is the maximum size that Ryanair allows. We're flying with EasyJet and they allow slightly bigger bags, so I can probably stuff it full and still be fine. So I haven't got a ton of space, but we're also only going for a week and we have washing facilities, so I don't need to bring a ton of clothes. So I'm planning to take this pretty flat in the bottom of the suitcase, so that if we're going out and I want to carry a small crossbody bag, I can just put like my water bottle and knitting and stuff, maybe a sweater, don't know what the weather's going to be like, in there. And I'm also probably going to take a slightly bigger handbag so that I can keep everything in one. But it depends on luggage space, because clothes are more important than handbags. And obviously I need to take my knitting with me. I have thought about what knitting to take with me. I can't remember whether I talked about it last week or not. I'll leave it till closer to the time and talk about it then. So those are the things I've altered this week. And then I think I talked about this last week, that I was thinking about casting on for this, but I wasn't sure if I was going to have time. So I did find time on Tuesday evening, I think. Yes, I think it was Tuesday evening, because I met up with a friend on Tuesday and we spent a few hours in a pub chatting, and I was knitting and we had lunch. Actually, we had a late breakfast and then we just had a little starter for lunch, because we'd only just had breakfast like 2 hours before. So I did loads of knitting then. I got loads done on my deadline projects. So in the evening, I decided I did have time to cast on this. So this is the sweater I knitted and designed last year. I will write up the pattern for this. My goal is, while I'm knitting the new version, to write up the pattern and then get it off to my tech editor, because I need to work through this backlog of sweater patterns that I have. So I designed and knitted this last year, wore it a lot last summer. It's knitted in Shopple Sabbable cotton and it's very lightweight. Loved wearing it last year. I haven't worn it as much this year because I kind of forgot I had it. Plus, I think it was warmer this summer than it was last year. But I really like it, and I was thinking actually last winter that it would be really good to knit it in Sabbable 100, which is 100% merino. So last week I went through my yarn I had in stock to see if I had enough of any of these colours. I need 4. I had 3 of this colour, but I had to order more anyway for Yarndale, so I ordered an extra ball for myself. And then on Tuesday evening I cast on. The original sweater is dropped shoulder, so it worked top down, so I cast on kind of from like here to here. This time I've decided to do just the shoulder width, because I'm going to do set-in sleeves. The body is knitted top down, so I'm doing the back first to the underarms, then I'm picking up stitches for the shoulders and knitting the front down to the front neck, on both sides, and then joining that and knitting that down to the underarm, and then I join to knit in the round for the rest of the body. Then I'll be picking up stitches around the armhole and knitting the sleeves top down, and I'll be shaping the setting sleeves using short rows. Done that loads of times for magazine designs. I've never done it for myself. So I was doing 2 of those patterns like last week or the week before for magazine designs, where I had short row set in top down sleeves, and I thought I fancy doing it for myself. So I have decided to do satin sleeves on this one. I think the finished pattern will have both options. So this is the width of my shoulders ish. I need to just do some measuring because the original one is quite big on me, I think. So I need to try it on again after this and check whether I want to try and make it slightly smaller. Because when I was doing the math for this, the difference between my shoulder width and my bust width, and my shoulders are quite wide, but I have to increase quite a lot of stitches. I want to see if I can make it slightly smaller so I don't have to increase quite as many stitches. And then I'm hoping to get the top to the underarm done before we leave for YarnAddict, so that I can just knit in the round. Because once I get to the underarm, the rest of the body is just stocking stitch in the round, which would be perfect car knitting, because we're driving all the way up to Lancashire from Cornwall, probably about 7 hours. Simon will probably do a big chunk of the driving. It's the same road that I drove up last week to Warrington for Black Sheep Wools, except it's an hour and a half longer. So about 6.5 hours maybe without stops. So I'd really like to get to the underarms before we leave, but I also have this deadline project. I don't have to finish that because the deadline's not for like a week and a bit after we come back. I need to finish it before we go to Portugal in, it'll be 2 weeks, middle of next week. So I've got quite a lot of time and I'm about halfway, and it's a small project. But I don't want to leave it all to the last minute, because when we come back from YarnAddict the following weekend, I have a 2-day workshop at the Knitting Hotel. So I won't get much knitting done for those 2 days. So I'm going to try and work on it a lot today. I'm going to try and finish the back to the underarms today, just so I can check that the size and everything's okay. And then do the front, try and do the fronts of the weekend. Like I said, I only cast on Tuesday evening, so I'm doing quite well with it. And then I will join after the underarm. Then I'll probably put it aside till we leave for YarnAddict and work on my deadline project instead and try and get as much as that done. I had planned to take that with me because I thought that would be easy car knitting. But if I can make enough progress on it before we leave, I will leave that at home. Just put it on my desk so I don't forget when we get back, and then finish that when we get back. I'd love to get that sweater finished before we go to Portugal. I won't be taking it to Portugal because I think it'll be too warm. I might consider taking it when I go to Norway a week after we get back from Portugal. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm really enjoying working on it. This is one of my favorite project bags. It's the one I got with the Cool Woolings advent calendar last year from Oh Wow Amsterdam. Is my favorite part of the advent calendar. The yarn is also beautiful. It's sitting by my feet. I still haven't done anything with it. I do need some time this autumn to try and find time to do something with the 2 yarn advents I have left from last year. One of them I've done a little bit with, but I have like at least 15 grams left of each ball. So I need to do something else. Then I got my Cool Woolings one, which I ordered half an advent, so 12 days. And then after Christmas last year, in January, I ordered the second half because I really like the look of it. Then I haven't done anything with it. So I need to decide to do something with that. My plan was to do something with this so I could release a pattern by the end of November or sometime in November. Don't think that's going to happen now because of all the travel and stuff I got on this autumn. I was actually looking back at my Instagram stories because they're saved in an archive. Because last year when we were at YarnAddict, it was really, really cold. So I was going back to see what the temperature was, to see if I'd put it in my Instagram stories, because I'm trying to think about what to wear clothes-wise this year. And I only started my Truly Hooked Yarn Advent project from the year before at the end of September last year, and I still managed to release the pattern in November. But I was home most of the time. I was teaching a lot, but I didn't have any holidays till November last year. This time I got 3.5 weeks in total of holidays this autumn over 2 trips. So we'll see. The other project I brought up, which I haven't done any work on, but I'm doing this for accountability because I'm a bit worried I'm going to just forget about this and leave it, is a smallish project, so I should really get on and do it. Probably won't be doing it before I go to Yarndale, and it probably won't come with me to Yarndale, but I'm not sure yet. So I started a cowl. I knitted a cowl last winter. If I have a photograph, I will add it here. And I can't remember what yarn I used. I think it was probably the discreet unicorn and maybe spectrum fibre. I'm not 100% sure. They might both be spectrum fibre. I can't remember. And I didn't write up the pattern. Well, I wrote up the pattern, but I didn't release it because I wanted to knit it in Yatagara merino cotton. So I started a few months ago and I knitted the rib and a little bit more. And I wasn't happy with the tension, so I unpicked the colour work and went down needle size, and haven't done anything with it. I'm using the amethyst of Yatagara merino cotton and the light blue, and I've got the pattern all here. It's the same or similar pattern to my Love Hearts cushion, and I really want to make it in those colours, and I'm trying to think if I can get that done before I go to Portugal. I can get the pattern off to my tech editor while I'm in Portugal. When I come back from Portugal, I can maybe get most of the edits done before I go to Norway and then release it sometime in November. But we'll see. But I brought this up just for a bit of accountability so I don't completely forget about it, because I'm a bit worried it's going to just languish in my basket downstairs and I won't get around to doing it, and I do really want to do it. My socks I haven't touched at all since last week, mainly because I haven't been out and about anywhere. I think I took them with me last week when I went to Black Sheep Wools, but I didn't work on them. Didn't knit a lot while I was away last week, because on the Thursday night, I did a little bit on the Thursday going up when we stopped the services, but I think I was working on my deadline project. And then Thursday evening, I worked on my crochet sweater, shortening the sleeves. Friday evening, I was quite tired because I didn't sleep very well on Thursday night, and it was a busier class on Friday. So I got a takeaway and took it back to the hotel. And then I did a bit of knitting, but I can't remember what on. Oh, I think it was probably the mosaic Bergen scarf. And then Saturday night, I drove home, and I did stop twice on the way home, I think. I managed only 2 stops this time. Last time I stopped 3 times. And I don't think I did much knitting, so I did a little bit on my second stop, but I didn't stop very long either time because I wanted to get home, and there was a bit of traffic and things, so it was taking me a bit longer to get home. Finished at 4:15, so I probably left there at 4:30. I got home just after 11. It's about a 5-hour drive. Obviously, I had to stop a couple of times, and there was a bit of queuing at the beginning part of the journey, which I didn't have last time I went up. The other thing I've been thinking about is a Yarndale. What do I want to knit at the show? So if I can get that sweater to the underarm, that's quite easy knitting. I can pick that up and put it down. There isn't a lot of knitting time at the show, but there's more time than you realise, because beginning of the day is usually quiet. Usually we're ready before the show opens, so then we're just sitting on the store waiting for it to open. So you should do a bit of knitting then, or I might do a bit of social media. And then I found the last couple of years, or few years since COVID, because they've been doing these timed entries to try and ease the flow, because it used to be really busy in the morning. I guess immediately after COVID, they had to do it because those were the regulations in 2021, I guess. And then they've kept that system, which I know a lot of stallholders aren't 100% happy about, but it probably is better for visitors. But it means that the first couple of hours are really quiet, much quieter than normal, but the afternoon gets quite busy. So it is good when there are nobody on the stall to have something to do. Don't really want to do stuff on my phone, because then it looks like you're just sitting there looking at your phone. And if I can sit and knit, then I can, something easy I don't have to look at. I can look at people and nod to people and say hello to people and even talk to people while still knitting. And quite often me knitting will make people stop and look. Then they'll come up and talk to me, and then they'll have a look around. and they might even spend some money. So it's not a bad thing. But I was thinking I might want to cast on a pair of socks. So I do have a sock in progress, which I do want to finish before I go to Portugal. I've not finished the first one yet. But I was going through my yarn order yesterday, packing the new yarn I'd ordered, and there is Shopple Cyberball Static 6, which is a 6-ply yarn, so like a thin DK, I guess. I've knitted with this before. It's lovely to knit with. I have a shawl I knitted in this yarn last spring. Lamorna, maybe? I can't remember what it's called. But it's really nice to knit with. But I was thinking I could really do with this basic sock pattern for this yarn, because it is going to appeal to a lot of people to knit socks. So I thought that's what I'll do, is I'll knit a sock pattern, I'll knit a sock, and then I'll use that to write up the sock pattern later. And I picked up this colour because I really like it. I wear hand knitted socks a lot. I wear them every night because my feet get really cold. But I also wear my Pilates every week because my feet get really cold. Normally you do Pilates in bare feet. I can't. Even in the summer I wear socks. And this summer I've been wearing normal socks and hand knitted socks on top. I have a couple of pairs of DK socks that I use for Pilates, but I could probably do with an extra pair because they're getting a bit worn out. And I like this. It's a bright, cheerful colourway. So before we leave for Yarndale, I will cast on for this. I think I normally do these socks. I've done socks in this thickness before, so I need to just check my phone. But because all my sock notes are on my phone in the Samsung Notes app, I basically keep records of all the socks I knit there, so I can go back and see what I did on various socks. So I probably going to cast this on before we go to Yarndale. I think I'm doing toe up, maybe, I'm not sure. And then if I decide not to work on the sweater at the show, I can work on these socks. And also we're going up a day early, so we're staying with friends nearby in Lancashire, and we are going out for the day with them on Thursday, and probably also Friday morning, and then we go and set up Friday afternoon. So when we're out with them, I can put this in my small project bag and just clip it in my handbag and take that with me. And then at the show, if it's too difficult to work on my sweater because it's getting too big, I can work on the socks. But I'm still working on the yarn that I actually sell on my store. I do like at shows to work on the yarn I actually sell. I have some new Symphony yarn, the Terra sock yarn, and I was thinking about casting on a pair of socks in that, but I've decided to go for this instead. So that will be a new project next week, hopefully. Right, I think that's it. Don't forget the Brioche clutch is available now on Ravelry and Payhip. 25% off the pattern till Friday, 26th of September, I think it is. I put it away now. My Diamond Soft Forever cushion is 25% off the pattern till Sunday evening this week. You can get the yarn from my website. My YarnAddict online shop will close first thing Monday morning. So if you want anything, order by Sunday evening and I'll ship it on Monday. And then I'll reopen the shop as soon as I can after Yarndale. We drive home on the Monday. So probably on the Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. And then Friday and Saturday, I'm at a knitting hotel that week. So I got like 3 days to get sorted. And don't forget to check out my workshops. They are on my website. The website page is linked below. I think that's all I need to tell you. I hope when I go back and listen to this, it has recorded the sound all the way through. My microphone is still showing green, so fingers crossed. If not, there will not be a podcast this week. Next week, because we're leaving on Wednesday, if I'm going to record a podcast, I have to do it on Tuesday. So it just depends on how much I have left to do for Yarndale, and how much knitting I get done over the weekend. Because I'm recording this a day late, I only have like 3 days of knitting to do before next week's podcast. So there may be a podcast next week. There may not be. I have other videos to go next week, so there will be other videos. One thing I forgot to say was the Tuesday video this week was about my design for Knitting Magazine issue 263, which is a lovely cable poncho up of a picture up on the screen. And 2 weeks ago, I had a video on how to knit cables without a cable needle. So if you haven't checked those 2 videos out, do go and check them out. They're on my channel. That's it. I think we'll call it a day for today so I can get some other work done and stay on my schedule for the rest of the day. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.